Yo, what's going on, everyone? Sam and Caleb here.
Hey guys, how's
Sober
it going?
souls.
Sober souls.
Sober souls.
Mm-hmm. You got T behind the video tonight. Say hi, T.
T money.
So
T
we're
bone.
coming at you guys from Seattle, Washington. It's Wednesday, June 10th, 7:00 in the evening. It's been a beautiful day here.
Yeah.
Sunshine, about 60 degrees, so it's nice and cool.
Yep.
Perfect spring, summer day.
Nice and sunny.
Hope y'all are doing good, staying sober out there. What we thought we would, well, first of all, want to say, missed you guys, been busy, glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, we just before we get into everything, we just went out to Jalisco's, which is this Mexican restaurant in Lake City. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. Caleb and I each got carne asada. T got some nachos. Man, right now I'm so full.
Yeah, I was talking about this earlier with some guys that we were at a meeting and stuff, and we were talking about how we just insist now that we're sober, we have the money to eat good. We
Yeah.
insist on eating good.
Yeah.
I've gained 100 pounds in sobriety. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've gained way more than 100 pounds.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we refuse to eat crap food anymore. We did that when we were drinking and drugging, and
Yeah.
none of that shit was good for us. All that fast food and grease and all of that is it's not good for you. It's not good for your heart, not good for your system at all.
What are you talking about? Who eats when they do drugs?
That's true. Well,
Not me.
I'll stay skinny because I just won't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather be a little heavy.
Hey, I want to be a rock star.
All right, kid. All right, kid. All right. Yeah, see, we're having a good time, and that's what it's all about. And tomorrow when I wake up, I'll remember what I did the night before. I won't have to wonder,
Yeah.
like, dude, where's my car?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. What did I do last night? Who was I with? Who did I end up with? Who did I wake up next to? Do I know him? Have I seen her before?
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Where was she on the bagger scale?
Exactly. 10 or a 12.
Yeah.
Every bit of crazy.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to talk about, we're going to do a little war story in. We're going to talk about the last night that we used. And so Sam's going to take over.
Yep. The last time I used, I was on I think like a 4-day binge, and I had done like 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of crack with like 3 girls.
That's a lot of rock.
Yeah. That's those hauls we hit the paint pretty hard.
That's a lot of rock.
It's a lot of rock. But for me, drugs weren't that expensive, so I was able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and 3 crack hoes and a coke dealer and that I befriended at a bar. And at that moment I was feeling sad, and I was thinking, you know what, I had just gotten off work, and at that time I was working doing car sales, selling brand new and used Fords. And I got off work, I went to the bar, I had about 4 or 5 double Jamesons on the rocks, and then I thought, you know what sounds like a good idea is some coke. So I started doing some lines with the coke dealer, and then I'm like, fuck this shit, man, this shit's for pussies, let's go get some fucking crack.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, man, you don't know shit. So
this was a dealer that didn't know what crack was.
Well, like, he knew what crack was, but he's like never seen it,
never tasted
never
butter baby.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know just a little bitty bit about that.
Yeah. I know too much about that.
Yeah.
But so we go to a house, and then him and I start rocking up some shit, and then it's like we're thinking, fuck, man, we need some hoes. So we found some crack hoes and went and picked them up.
You found them on Aurora.
Yeah.
It's the worst. This is what we call the Blade up here. It's Highway 99, and they what do? They decriminalize prostitution
on certain blocks
from 85th to 145th, and they did this, I don't know, 10 years ago. So There's hoes, 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 hoes,
Hoes and
hoes everywhere
pimps.
you goes
Pimps and
here,
hoes, hoes and pimps.
and they're pimps to go with them. Most of them,
Yeah. Keep your strong arm strong, but your pimp arm stronger.
they're all over. They're all over Aurora.
Yeah.
We call it the Hora of Aurora.
Yeah. Or go and look at the flowers.
You know, the sad thing, yeah, we go to the garden and look at the flowers.
Yeah.
Sad thing is, you know, that's somebody's kid.
I know.
You know, that's somebody's daughter. It could be somebody's mother. You know,
Yeah.
I feel for those girls out there on the blade. They work hard. You know.
Remember that one girl, the one I was telling you about, the one that was crying,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the prom queen? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was with her that night.
Oh,
Yeah.
the prom queen.
Yeah.
The prom queen.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pay for them,
Of course
you
not.
know, because if
No,
you got,
the crack pays.
yeah, the crack pays for
Crack
itself.
pays the way.
Yeah. So it's, you know, we go to the blade, you know.
Cream, cash rules everything around me. I mean, crack rules everything around me.
around me. Dollar bills, y'all. But so yeah, me and him would go to the blade. We get 3 hoes. Or at this point we only had gotten 2, and then one of them was not fun at all. And she was just smoking my dope. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go have fun with the other chick, and you know, see what happens. And then the next thing I know is I got a knock on the door, and it's the coke dealer I'm with, and he's like, man, can I come in here? She's no fun at all. And I said, sure, dog, you know, come in. And I just threw a little washcloth over my junk, and 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 we had this funnel that we put a bunch of chore boy in, and hooked up to a tube, so it's, you know, got the funnel in the tube and just going
That much crack.
Yeah, that much crack.
That's a lot of crack.
And I'm doing it, and it's like the biggest bell ringers of my life.
Yeah.
And we said, all right, your turn. And this guy had never done crack until he met me. And he takes a hit and then instantly starts seizing.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, fuck. And the girls are like, save him, save him, save him. So I fucking stand up and I go to turn him on his side. And when I'm doing this, my balls swing because I'm naked. Keep that in mind. My balls swing and hit him in the forehead. And I was like, fuck. And, you know, because, you know, I wasn't trying to
cross swords.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't trying to have that, but, I mean, like I have, you know, been gangbangs and stuff like that, but, not where my balls are touching another man's forehead. And eventually he came to, and he's like, what happened? And, you know, he's like, can I get a hit? And I said, fuck no. You know, I said, you just had a seizure. He's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, dude, yeah, you did. And then what ended up happening is I said, you know, and I got to take you home. And I went and dropped him off at his place. And then I dropped off the hoe that wasn't any fun and got a different hoe to substitute. And we ended up going and, you know, buying more pipes and trading shit for dope. Because at this point it's like we had done, like I said, 2 ounces, and I'm getting paranoid out of my fucking mind. Because for me, like, and I'm sure for you too, like being schizoaffective, doing stimulants is not our friend.
No.
It, you know, causes instant psychosis where you're straight up delusional. And, you know, I'm starting to have, you know, weird thoughts and thinking that, you know, cops are about to pull up, and, you know, I'll get paranoid. And, what ended up happening is I just kept using. But then at the same time, I was having fun with the girls to try and counteract the negative side with a positive side, even though it's like, yeah, that part's fun, but, you know, it's at the same time I'm killing myself. And because the paranoia and the psychosis was so bad that I was so fucking suicidal that once we ran out of dope, and I had smoked all the cav, we decided to go back to the blade to go get some more dope. And what ended up happening is that uh, I got so paranoid that they just fucking left. And then I'm out on the blade looking for dope by myself, left my car with the keys in it unlocked with my phone, just trying to calm myself down and not kill myself. And I was trying to do, instead of suicide by cop, I was trying to do suicide by gang member, and was going up to gang members like in it, like they're in a big group and it's just me alone. And I'm, trying to pick fights, trying to get them to shoot me. But I was so gacked out of my mind that they were scared of me. And they were like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? He's fucking crazy. He doesn't care about dying. He doesn't care if we shoot him. And that's what made them scared of me. And, they backed away from me. And I was just like, fuck, because I was just hoping that they shot me in the head. And what ended up happening is I start walking down, I forget what trail it is, but I started walking down there. There's a trail right next to the blade on the backside, right next to 145th. Um, but I just started trying to walk it off, clear my mind, and that wasn't working at all. I was just trying to find a way that wasn't going to be the rest of my life, because I was at the point where I needed the drugs to keep going, because the come down was so bad at that point where I couldn't handle it. I needed to keep doing the drugs, because then the withdrawals were hitting and it was bad. And so then I go back to the blade and start walking again. And then
Berkman.
Yeah.
Berkman Trail.
Yeah, Burt Gilman.
Boy, Burt Gilman. Yeah,
Burt Gilman Trail.
Took me a minute.
I've
been there, done that.
Yeah. And so then I start walking the blade, and then I see my mom, and she's like tears in her eyes and all, and I start walking to her, and she's like, get in the car. And I got in the car, and she was talking to a homie of mine named, we call him Debo, but his name's Dustin. DD Bobo. But apparently she had filed a missing persons report with the police. And so I was gonna get found in it was just a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
It was either gonna be her or the cops. And I'm too paranoid to even form sentences, and I'm so high I can't. So she immediately takes me to Northwest Hospital, and then I start flipping out because I have very bad PTSD from that hospital from when I OD'd on fentanyl, and they were saying that my dad snitched on me. Or they said no, they said that we know you and your dad are big players in the game, and that you're working together. You need to give us information on him. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, well, you can either go inpatient for involuntarily, and it could be like up to 8 years, or we can get the police involved, and I'd be going to prison. Or it was I do outpatient therapy for the rest of my life. And that was when I OD'd on fentanyl. So I had PTSD from that day, being in that same hospital, in that same room, in the locked ward, because that's what happened. Because when you're in danger to yourself, they put you in it's like a 3 or 4 room ward, where all the doors are locked, and you got nothing but a gown on. And so I start freaking out.
Grippy socks.
Yep. Grippy socks. And so I'm freaking out, and I go in there, and I ended up social engineering my way out, because I was a master manipulator when I was like dope dealing and but also using. And the way I talked my way out so fucking good that they even offered me an internship to be a social worker there. And at this point, it's like I'm not taking them up on their offer, but Um, the following days were just so brutal that I went to Swedish hospital because I was going to kill myself. I think T, you remember that. Because I was going to kill myself, and because I've attempted more times, more fingers than I have on my hand, or hands. So I went to Swedish a couple days later, and eventually they got me a referral for Fairfax for PHP, which is partial hospitalization. And I've been doing that now for 6 months. And for me, that was the last time I used. Um,
Great story, Sam.
yeah, yeah.
Great story.
It was very traumatic, and I'm very sorry to my mom for putting her through it. You know, I deal with a lot of guilt and shame for it, like all the PTSD she has. Like, she has a lot of PTSD from like the boat accident where she got a call saying that your 6-year old son had his face torn apart by friction and is non-responsive. You know, like I was dead for 45 minutes and that. And so it's like this, it's been a constant um go of trauma my whole life. And so it's I've traumatized her a lot. I've traumatized myself a lot, but I've also been through a lot at the same time. And so it's like I feel guilt and shame for putting her through those things. So, mom, I know you don't want to listen to this story, but if you do, I'm sorry. Um, yeah, because for me, it was dope was everything to me. I didn't have a job. I was dealing. Sometimes I was cooking. Sometimes uh, I don't really want to like get into like that and say and try and incriminate myself.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing these things anymore. This is in the past. In the past, I was the guy cooking the shit. I was the guy. I was big pimping.
Yeah.
I was the shot caller, and I spent $4 million just on my addiction alone.
Yeah.
But that was the last time I used you guys.
Right on, Sam.
Yeah.
Right on. Um, I was just thinking back. So for me, I didn't get into the crack as heavy, I don't think, as Sam did. I liked the powder. Um, I liked it way too much for way too long. So like building up to the last night that I used, I had a job. I had a nice little apartment. Well, I mean, really, it was a shithole looking back on it, but back then it seemed nice. But I had a job. I had an apartment. I had 3 vehicles, 2 Honda Civics and a Ford Explorer, and, I was drinking in the bars with the guys, and then dope dealer would show up, and I'd be doing lines in the bathroom, and, then you wanna go home and do more coke and, mess with the girls. So for me, it was, around, like, the Halloween coming into Thanksgiving, I was starting to lose stuff, right? Trade stuff to the dope man. All 3 of those vehicles ended up going. Everything in the apartment that was worth anything really. And coming into that fall, I was 29 years old. It was in 2011 because my sober date is January 1st of 2012. So coming into that fall, I was using
Yeah.
I was using real heavy. And I was doing like at least, I mean, probably not as much as Big Pimpin' over there, but I was doing an 8 ball easy by myself a day. And, the dope dealer was dropping it off at the
Yeah.
end of the driveway at my work,
Yeah. You
you
know what
know.
they say, an ounce of crack a day keeps the doctor away.
Oh man, I couldn't smoke an ounce, man. You guys outsmoke me all day long.
Yeah.
But shit, it was building up, right? And I was starting to lose stuff. And my job was on the line, and I got an eviction notice because it was more important to snort cocaine and drink whiskey than it was to pay my rent and pay my bills. And so I was being evicted. And, we'll fast forward, by now we're like coming into like around about Thanksgiving. And I was actually smoking crack one night and got suicidal, right? Because I, like Sam, we have the exact same mental illness diagnosis. We have two, bipolar one
Mhm.
and schizoaffective disorder.
No, and I'm also borderline personality disorder.
Yeah, well, I'm ADD too, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I'm ADD too, but
I got your OCD swinging too,
yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah, I got that
Anyways,
too.
so yeah, I mean, the dope man was dropping it off at the end of the driveway. I was doing dope at work. I was doing dope, 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 dope. And I would go 3, 4, 5 days without sleeping. We go into psychosis. And then one night around about getting close to Thanksgiving, I was by myself in that apartment and I was actually smoking crack that night and got into full blown psychosis, got suicidal, called 911 because I was going to slit my wrist. They came, they took my knives away. I never got those knives back, by the way. I got to file with the Seattle Police Department to get those
Yeah,
motherfuckers back. But anyways, so I never got those back. But they took it serious because I was serious. I was gacked out of my fucking gourd. I don't know how much I had smoked, but it was a lot. And the firemen came first, and then the police, and then an ambulance, which it's like 3 in the morning, and I was a danger to myself. So they put me on a gurney, and then they put restraints over me so I couldn't lift my arms and my hands or my legs or anything like that. And they got me to where did I go? The Harbor View that time, and they changed me into a gown with grippy socks, and I got a padded room for a while, and they had it worked out for me to go to Fairfax that's a mental hospital in Kirkland up here and not just right outside of Seattle. So
yeah.
anyways,
There's also one in Bellevue.
there used to the one that I went to, I think was different. It wasn't the one in Bellevue, it was the one
Yeah,
in
the one
Kirkland.
in Kirkland is for inpatient.
Okay.
The
So
one in
yeah.
Bellevue is like for outpatient, even though they have the services also at Kirkland.
So I was definitely inpatient, and I was also involuntary. I was not voluntary. I was involuntarily committed, which means if I say I want to go, I can't go. If you're voluntary and you say I want to go home, they'll get you out of there in 30 minutes to an hour. But if you're involuntary, that means you can't go home.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
so
know.
I think I spent, 6, maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 hours in that padded room at Harborview. Then they got me in another ambulance and took me to Fairfax. And I was at Fairfax, I think, for about 33 days. Of course, I met a girl, and it just so happened that when we got out of Fairfax, we went to the exact same treatment center. I went to Sanctuary at the Lake over in Lake Chelan. And, by now it's Thanksgiving, coming into Christmas. And I was there for like 29 days. And so that girl and I actually hooked up at Fairfax, and then we kept hooking up at the treatment center. And they
Nice.
said that, so
Nice.
we had we found this bathroom on the first floor, and that's where we would always go. And we were going a lot, like 3 or 4 times a day. We disappear and we're in this bathroom for 30 minutes to an hour at a time. And the fucking janitor snitched on us, man.
Oh,
The
fuck.
janitor saw us coming out of there one day and snitched on us. And they asked her about it, and she denied, 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 and they kicked her out.
Oh,
And her
shit.
parents had to come over to Lake Chelan and pick her up like right before Christmas, and they were pissed at her and they hated me.
Yeah.
They had never even met me and they hated me. And why shouldn't they? I mean, I'm banging their daughter at treatment,
Yeah.
right? But I, on the other hand, was honest with them, and I'm like, yes, yes, guilty, guilty. Yes, yes, I did it. I did it 3 times a day, 4 times a day. Just don't kick me out.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this has never happened before, so we don't really know what to do. And I'm thinking to myself, bullshit, this has never happened before. This
Yeah.
is human nature, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I called bullshit. But they swore that it had never happened. So whatever. So they didn't really know what to do with me. So they made it to where I had to stay. They made it to where I had to stay um, away from any of the other girls at the treatment center because they were afraid that, Casanova,
Yeah.
that I would continue to do what I had been doing with the one girl that got kicked out, which I probably would have. But anyway, so I meet another girl,
Yeah.
right? And she's pretty cool. And we start hooking up. And so I graduate from treatment. I get out. I get this really cool coin that says, life is a journey, not a destination. And so I get this really cool coin when I graduate. And the girl that I had met after the other one, we said we were going to stay in contact. And she's going to keep blowing my phone up, man.
Yeah, you got to take this.
Yeah. Can you pause it?
No. I'll just keep talking.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so basically what I was going to talk about is you guys got that? You put it in and then pull to the left or right. Pull to the right.
What's going on?
All right, they figured it out, guys. Yeah. So last time I used, let me talk a little bit more about my origin, so you guys can get a better understanding for who I am. Drugs was my whole life. Like, it was the way how I made a living. It was, you know, T, you want to come on and talk? Sure. All right, guys. I guess T's coming in. Sorry for how chaotic this episode is. Just step over. T, last time you used?
My last time used is 2/18, 2026. So it's probably like 3 or 4 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm good. Pretty good.
Well, talk about the last time you used, because we're all telling stories.
My last time I used, I very strung out, and so yeah, it's kind of difficult for me.
Yeah.
But now I'm good now.
All right. Well, I guess Caleb's back, so I
Yeah.
guess we're gonna switch out people again.
Yep, switch.
Musical chairs. Yep. Step over. All right. You were talking about you just gotten out of treatment. You got a coin.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. That was Maddie. That's my daughter. Always blows up my phone when I'm busy. It's all right. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. So I got out of treatment from Lake Chelan, and I flew from Lake Chelan to Seattle, and then I flew from Seattle down to Reno, and my dad picked me up, and I spent some time with him in Northern California. And then I came back to Seattle, and it was right before New Year's, and the girl that had gotten kicked out was my girlfriend, and she picked me up from the airport, and I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, kind of early because I left Reno really early. And at this point in time, I'd been sober for, I don't know, about 3 months. Well, I had gone from suicidal to Harborview to Fairfax to treatment to California, but I wasn't done. I thought I was done, but I wasn't done until that last New Year's. So she picks me up. It's New Year's Eve. And the other girl, when M, we'll just call her M, when M started or got kicked out, A and I started doing the same thing that M and I were doing.
Yeah.
So, but M and A were friends.
Yeah.
And so M had picked me up from the airport, and we decided to drive from SeaTac to Cedro Woolley to pick up A.
Yeah.
And we're in M's vehicle because mine were gone. I had given them all to the dope man.
Yeah.
And so I still had the key to the apartment, and I was being evicted. That was like the last night that anything was allowed to be there. So M had picked me up. We went to Cedro Woolley and picked up A, and A had done coke many times, but M had never done coke. So we stopped and picked up a half ounce
Yeah.
at my guy's house, and we went over to that little apartment on 85th, and we were drinking Crown Royal and Coca-Cola and Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola, and doing lots and lots and lots of lines of cocaine. Well, we get there, and fuck, M had never done it before, so I gave her a decent sized line, and she did that in one nostril, and she looked at me and said, "More." And that was her first experience with cocaine. And so we had a pretty crazy night. We went out to the bars. and Em and I were doing our thing, and A found a guy, and we all went back to my apartment. And A and that guy was like in the Navy or some shit. He had a curfew, so we had to have him back to the boat by like I don't know, like 11 or 12. It was we had to have him back early, but we had fun at the bar and we danced and we drank and the girls had a good time and they were getting naked and that was lots of fun. And then back at my apartment, A and her guy in the living room, me and M in the bedroom, and everybody's just doing their thing. Everybody's naked. Nobody cares. Everybody's high as a kite. And well, he had a curfew. We had to get him back to the boat. So we all got dressed. We left. We took him back to the boat. Well, then we needed more Coke.
Yeah.
So we went and got more Coke, and then we go back to my apartment. And make a long story short, me and A start doing what me and M were doing, and then before you know it, I'm just going back and forth between these two girls, and feeling like a real piece of shit at the time, but it was fun. And that's what we did until about the time the sun came up, and we ran out of dope, and we were out of money, and there wasn't anything to pawn, and it was the last day that I could be at that apartment, and I had cleared just about everything out of there, and so that day I was to move into a clean and sober house. Well, I've been up all night New
You're
Year's
gacked
Eve,
out of your
gacked
mind.
out of my fucking gourd, and
Yeah.
I'm moving into a clean and sober house up in Linwood that day. And the girls are like exhausted, right? Because I mean, they've been
Yeah.
run through like crazy all night long. They're exhausted. I'm exhausted. We get me moved into the clean and sober house. We all crash out for a few hours, and then we wake up, and all the guys at the clean and sober house are like, "Who's this guy that moved in with two girls in his room for all afternoon?" And da 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 da.
Yeah.
And so I was acting manic because I was high on coke, hadn't slept, so I'm a little bit manic. I'm starting to get borderline like psychosis,
Yeah.
right? Psychosis is starting to kick in, right? And I'm starting to get paranoid. And I don't know why, but I thought I had a drug test coming because I did. And the girls got me out of it. And we ended up going, fuck. I called my little pink haired friend who was a little raver girl that I used to party and fuck and everything back in the day. And I called her. I was like, "Hey, I got to take a piss test. I got cocaine in my system. What do I do?" And she's like, "Okay, go to the store and get this gelatin shit and mix it with this and mix it with that. And you got to drink it all and you got to keep it all down and you got to pee 3 times." And then I'm like, fuck. So we go to the store. We get this nasty Sure Gel. We get this
Mhm.
nasty Sure Gel stuff, mix up a big bottle of all the shit that Jen had said to get and I drink it all. And then we go to Sherry's up in Linwood. This is
Mhm.
back when they were still open up there.
Yeah.
And we're all eating dinner. And I eat just a little bit. I go outside, I throw up everywhere. And like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I know I gotta take a drug test when I get back to this clean and sober house. So so the girls by now are getting a little bit like delirious, right? We're all exhausted. They're delirious. And so we go they take me to the hospital because I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm paranoid as fuck. I'm freaking the fuck out. They take me to the hospital and A says, give him a banana pack to clean him out. And they did, whatever the fuck that is. They hooked up an IV to a big drip bag, big full drip bag of, I don't know, some kind of fluid. They hooked that up to me. And well, the girls left and they took off to go to M's house. And they did that for I don't know, a few hours, and then they came back and got me, and then they took me to the clean and sober house, and I took a piss test. I passed. I stayed there for just a couple of days. I tied up some loose ends in Seattle, and with the memory of a girl that I had known before that lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, I called a buddy in Charlotte and said, "Hey, I've got 3 days clean and sober. I'm down to a backpack and 50 cents at this point in time." That's what I had to my name, a backpack full of dirty clothes and 50 cents. And I said, "I need to get to Charlotte. I need to start over." And he said, "I'll get you a ticket here. And when you get here, you can stay one night with me. And then I'm taking you to a meeting. And I won't say what kind, but he said, I'm taking you to a meeting and I'm leaving you there." I
Yeah.
said, "All right." So I got on a plane the next day. I took the bus from where I was all the way to the airport. And I got on that plane and I flew to Chicago, and a guy bought me a slice of pizza because I don't know, it just happened. And then I flew on from Chicago on to Charlotte. And when I got to Charlotte, my friend did exactly what he said he would do. He let me spend the one night on his couch. He took me to a meeting. The next day, we got up and went to breakfast. He took me to a meeting. And at the meeting, I just said, "Hey, my name's Caleb, and I need a place to live. I'm just moving back here after being gone for a few years." And there was a guy in that meeting that had a clean and sober house. And I said, "Dude," I said, "I have no money. I have no license. I owe the IRS money. I have no job. I have no income whatsoever. I don't even have any food, and all I have is this backpack." And he said, "You can move in." He said, "We got a bed available." And he let me move into that house, and it was way out on the outskirts of Charlotte. It took like almost 2 hours to bus from there, like into like the main part of Charlotte. And I put one foot in front of the other, and I found out about a meeting at 7:15 in the morning, and I started going to that meeting every day. And one day became a week, became a month, and I met some really beneficial people that have in my life, and they saved my life. They got me to the doctor's offices and social security so I could get on disability. And that was a long time ago, and I've worked a lot since, and always wanted to come off of disability, but I was on it for a short amount of time, and it did help because I couldn't fuck I was unemployable, completely unemployable. I couldn't work at a normal place and have normal conversations with people. I had done so much damage. I could barely even talk. And I would speak, people wouldn't understand what I was saying. I couldn't put sentences together like what Sam was talking about.
Yeah.
Um, I really couldn't. And I mean, I couldn't have worked for a regular store. And I always thought people could read my mind and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I thought that too.
that's one of the best pieces of advice that anybody ever gave me. A buddy of mine said, "You know what, man?" He said, "Nobody can read your mind."
Yeah.
So on
Uh,
that note, I stayed in Charlotte for a few years. I worked with a guy that taught me how to paint houses, interior, exterior. I worked for him for like 2.5 years, and I stayed sober, and I kept going to meetings. There was a point in time I was going to five a day, and five meetings a day, 7:15, noon, 6, 8, and 10. And I did that for a couple of years. And that girl that I was talking about, we got back together not long after I got back to Charlotte. And I lived by myself for a little while. We ended up moving in together and decided that we wanted to try to have a child. We had a couple of miscarriages, and then we had Maddie, November 17th of 2015. And I got sober January 1st of 2012. So my daughter's never seen me drunk.
that's good.
That's a good thing. Or high on coke. That's a good thing. But yeah, I mean that's my story.
Yeah. It's a good story, man. It's a good story. I like how, well, I didn't like it, but I can relate to the, feeling like your thoughts aren't safe,
Yeah.
where it's you think something and it's being broadcasted.
Mhm.
And I remember one time me and my dad were doing dope, and he sees that I'm just silent and paranoid, and he goes, "Ah, so you think you're broadcasting your thoughts right now, aren't you?" And I'm just like thinking, "Fuck, I can't even respond to that." And it's he ended up just making me more paranoid because he always thought that I was his psychosis was so bad that he was dating this girl named Kelly, may she rest in peace. She OD'd on fentanyl. He always would say that I was doing porn with her and like bringing in animals and fucking the animals, and was
Is your
I
dad?
yeah,
That's a sick motherfucker right there.
yeah,
What?
yeah,
Animals?
yeah,
Like really animals?
like horses would come in and fuck Kelly is what he would say.
Horses, huh?
Horses.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I know you're a man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get into that one next. Um, but yeah, he always, was saying, "Oh, you conspired against me. You're the ringleader of this big porn criminal industry." And it's like, yeah, I used to be a shot caller and shit and ran shit, but like you know, I wasn't doing what he said I was doing. I was doing something else.
Yeah.
You know, and so she ended up passing away, and but the point of me saying that was like he was so mad at me, like he would make me paranoid on purpose. And you know, it's some other things about it that I'm not going to get into because you know it's a very dark part of my dad and I's relationship. Um, but now there is a girl that he likes, her, and her name is, I'll just say it's Jay. You know, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
put someone on blast.
Well, that's what I had to do with M&A.
M&A and J.
M&A and J.
Elemental P next. But now it's that I somehow brought Kelly back to life, and that I'm like have her in a cage.
Oh, wow.
And that I'm fucking her and Jay, and that you're doing it with me, T's doing it with me, Nolan's doing it with me, Andrew's doing it with me. And it's like it's a big conspiracy, and it's, you know, it says I'm the ringleader of it all. And you know, like that's why he ended up pulling a knife on me the last time I saw him. Was wanting to gut me. It was like one of those big hunting knives that you
Like
used.
a Rambo knife.
Yeah. Yeah. Like something you'd use to gut a fish.
Yeah. Quick. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, that was the downfall of mine and my dad's relationship. And a part of like a lot of my addiction stemmed from the wanting approval because I never got his approval. And me just chasing after something I was never gonna get. So it's like I'd go and use dope with him to, you know, try and uh chase it. And you know, it's eventually it's I just said, you know, I can't do this anymore, you know. And like what Caleb said, you know, bitch, I know you're a man. That's that's a story. And this also touches into how bad his psychosis was. Um, is one time back when Kelly was alive, it was me, him, and her in her condo in Woodinville. And you know, it's we all just went and picked up some rock and or some soft and rocked it up. And you know, he's all baby, come here, you know, trying to be Rico Suave, but you know, he's sitting there in his underwear and no leg on his other leg, shirt off, gut hanging out. You know, baby, come here, and then give him like give me a kiss. And she goes over, kisses him, and then he says, load up my pipe, and then loads it up, and then he goes, hits it, holds it, and then just starts looking at her like this, just eyeing, and then goes and then goes, bitch, I know you're a man. Because he always said that he says, I know she used to be a man. I know she used to be a man. And he starts, as soon as he says, bitch, I know you're a man, he starts feeling for a fucking Adam's apple. And I'm just like, fuck, you know, Dad, she's not a man. She's a woman. You know, it's like you're fucking her. I think you would know if she's a man or not. But he's like, he says that he claims that she changed genders in the past. And I'm like, no, you're just crazy.
Gacked out of your
Yeah,
gourd.
you're gacked out of your gourd. You're in psychosis. This is psychosomatic. You know, you're insane. And, you know, I can't judge because, you know, I'm the same fucking way, you know? But you know, it's drugs really destroyed my family. It destroyed it terribly. Like there's one of my sisters who got married, and this is around the time that I OD'd on fentanyl, and I probably would have been like 23, 24. And she got married and said, don't tell Sam or Dad, and had my twin sister who I live with go to the wedding and made her promise not to tell me. So it's my sister I'm living with went to the wedding, and even my ex, who I was dating her at the time, but we'll call her M. Um, she knew about it, and I found out from her that my sister got married, and I was just pissed. And then my dad found out, and you know, there's distraught over that. You know, it's none of his children talk to him anymore. He blames us for the fallout, but you know, it's at a certain point you got to look at yourself. And you know, like I know that there is my part, like in the using drugs with him, which you know led to that downfall. You know, because I can take accountability. Um, but yeah, drugs, the crack in particular, destroyed my family. Um, and it wasn't till I started doing crack when I realized, oh fuck, I'm a drug addict. Uh, but yeah, guys, you know, that was a pretty good episode, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
very
stories.
good stories. Yeah,
Thank y'all for tuning in. Keep
Yeah.
doing that. Keep watching.
Stay sober.
Ask us questions.
If
Stay
you-
sober. Live one day at a time.
Yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to share your story and have it be on the podcast, just reach out to me, DM me, Facebook, Instagram, leave a comment.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Sober souls.
Souls. All right.